Well, you have decades of experience as a financial, as they say, guru or expert. You've worked in the oil and gas, you've worked in different sectors of the finance industry, and you also coach. But you're also a minister of the gospel as an associate pastor. But today, we don't want to talk about all that you do, but today we're going to focus on money, 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 as they say, money. In the church, we're taught a lot to give, to tithe, and it's a biblical principle, and it's wonderful. But what do we do with the rest of the 90%? That's not really talked about a lot in church. How can we be good stewards of what God has given us? Not just to give our tithes, but what do we do with the rest of the money?
I like the way you put it, that there's a lot of emphasis on, tithing, and we should move from emphasizing just the tithes to how we can empower people to be better stewards and managers of the 90%. One thing that we should not do is not bury the 90%. The story of the three servants and the talents in Matthew 25. We must not bury the 90%. I think what God expects of us is to grow the resources and the opportunities that we have, grow our wealth, multiply it and make it available for help for to live well and for help for other people. And then to as much as possible, power the kingdom work. So, refer to the story in the Bible that I mentioned. You can't afford to bury the 90%. And there are many ways of burying the 90%. If you waste it, if you don't multiply it, if you don't invest right, you're burying it. So I think that's a short reply I'll give to that.
I agree 100%. And, someone watching might feel like, okay, that's easy for you to say. You have money, you have a job. Like, I don't have anything. I don't even have 5 naira to put together. And now you're telling me, okay, I give some to God and what do I do with the rest? So what would you say to someone who maybe doesn't have a lot and wants to start, they want to grow their money, but they don't have a lot? What would you say?
Yes, Simi, I like that question because that's what the majority of the people around me, that's their circumstance, that's their situation. Back home, not a lot of people have access to, the resources, to be able to even expand. But financial education is very important. And to be honest, this year, my target for my platform is to take this financial literacy education to even the less privileged people who don't even have access to social media. And that's the question. That's what your question relates to. People that don't even have, how would they expand and multiply the income like I have suggested? We'll start from somewhere. The little that is in the hand, we must try to multiply it. Most people don't have as much as they should have because they're not maximizing the opportunities that they have to earn more, okay? Especially back home, there's a tendency to look down on certain jobs and certain opportunities. But by the time we have a change of mindset and begin to understand that, look, I have little in my hand, but I can have more if I do this. I mean, there's no job that we should look down on. So far, it is legal. So far, it is legal that you don't need to look down on any job. People don't know. If you're not looking out, then you don't know that your opportunities are there for you. If you're just happy, you're just satisfied, or you don't have the education or knowledge that you can expand and enlarge your income base, then you're going to be at that level for a very long time.
My next question, it's another article you wrote talking about Proverbs and tips we can get from Proverbs about money, because the Bible has so much to say about it. And one of my favorite, Proverbs, a little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of your hands to rest, and poverty.
And poverty crawls.
Yeah, it will come to you like a bandit. So talk about that. People who are watching who just want money to come. Why is it so important not to be sleeping, basically?
I like that. Thank you, Stevie. I'm loving the questions that you're putting on the table. It's very important. You see, I say to people that the poor man and the rich man has 24 hours in a day. So we all have 24 hours in a day. So the difference between the poor man and the rich man is how the 24 hours is utilized. So the Bible says, like you quoted, a little sleep, a little slumber, and poverty comes. It's very deep. You can't afford to waste your time. I'm sure you've heard they say time is wealth and wealth is time. And it's also very important for you, a career person, for myself, to make sure that what we spend our energy on and our time on are things that bring us profit, good profit. We don't want to be spending, the 8 hours for work, that we have for work to be working for an employer or doing a business that is not going to return the right value to us.
I do want to talk about one really important aspect of finances, and that's giving. You definitely, not just giving to the church, that is so important, but also giving to the community. And you are big on that with your nonprofit, Rehoboth.
Grace. By grace.
By his grace. Rehoboth Dream Solid Foundation. Can you talk about that and what God has done in that and why you think it's so important to give back?
There's something that we say as Christians. We say, what would Jesus do? What would Jesus do? And if we say we are Christians and we're Christ-like, Jesus gives. It's a foundation that my husband and I founded about 13 years ago. And the vision came from when we were pastoring the teens church. We were pastoring a church that had a mix of children from comfortable backgrounds that had the likes of my husband and I as parents, career parents who could afford education for their children. And then we have the very, very poor who could not even afford to register for the college exams. So my husband and I would take on some, would pay for them. Of course, we had a limit because we had to fend for our families and we had to also do other things. So we thought, God just gave us the wisdom that, look, people know you as people of integrity. If you call people to join hands with you, then you can send. I think we have over 250 students that have graduated from tertiary and university level education.
Well, that's wonderful. What made you so interested in helping people with finances? Why do you do it?
I think there's a lot of financial dependency in Africa where I live. The culture means we have to take care of people and family, friends around us who are less fortunate. And I just thought, why don't we empower ourselves and have less and less dependency on ourselves? So I have this desire to have as many people as possible get to financial independence as they can, as the opportunity permits. And like I said, it's not something I do by my might. I think I'm fortunate to have that grace upon my head at this time.